All right. Hey, Percussion. It's Mr. McGowan here. I'm going over the week 6 playing test in this video, which I have right here. So you'll notice it obviously looks very different than the one I'm sure you've been using. I've written in a bunch of different stuff in here just to, I know it looks very complicated, but these are all the counts, and this is how you should be practicing it. So let me draw your attention to the couple things. So first off, you'll notice I segmented every single beat. There's 4 beats in each measure, and I kind of grouped them all into beats, and I've labeled them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is it's very, very important that you keep track of that beat as you play the rhythms. Okay. Obviously, I also wrote in all of the counts in blue. Okay. The main rhythms that we see in this are 4/16 notes grouped, which would be the number, the E, and an which is, when we say it quickly, 1 E and a, or 2 E and a, or 3 E and so on. You'll also notice we have 2/16ths, eighth. That happens a few times. The 16th notes are at the beginning of the beat, so those 2/16 notes are fast, and then the and, there's going to be a slight pause after the and. That should be played 3 E and, or 2 E and, 1 E and. So if we had two of them together like this, it would be 3 E and, 4 E and, or 3 E and, 4 E and. We also have the reverse of that in here, which is 1/8 note, 2/16ths. So now the pause is going to be at the beginning of the beat. So in this case, it would be 2 and a, 2 and a. You'll notice we have 2 and a, 3 and a. So again, 2 and a, 3 and a. Okay. We also have 3/16 notes, 1/16 rest. You'll notice, especially for beginning band students, these 16th rests should look not familiar. They're exactly like the 8th rests, but actually half the value. So this only takes up a quarter of a beat. They're so fast, I didn't even write them in. The only one that's a little bit tricky, I'm trying to find it, is this one right here on beat 3, because the 16th rest is at the beginning of the beat. All the other 16th rests are at the end of the beat, and it's so fast that it doesn't really, it's hard to count. So I'll explain how that works in a second. This first one takes up the first quarter of the beat, so that would be 3. So if we were to think 3 E and a, it's the exact same thing, but there's a slight pause at the beginning of the beat. So for instance, 3 E and a. So if this is the beat, I'm going to let the beat happen and immediately come in right after beat 3. E and a. Again, and E and a. In my head, I'm thinking 3 E and a, but I'm only going to say, or I'm only going to play right after the beat. E and a. All right, these other ones where the 16th rest is at the end of the beat are very, very simple. It's just 1 E and, 2 E and, or 1 E and, 1 E and, 4 E and. It's just 3 fast beats. Okay. And this is the next rhythm that we're gonna talk about. Not the second rhythm, but the next rhythm is gonna be the 8th 2/16ths. So half of the beat is being taken up by a rest, and that leaves 2 fast notes. So that's and a, and a. A lot of times I think of this as a pickup note into the next beat. So for instance, this would be counted and a, 3 and a, 3 and. Okay, we have that again right here. And a, 3 and. All right, I'm going to count through this. That way you can practice it. I'm going to go ahead and set my metronome on quarter note equals 60, which you can tell is a good practice tempo. And actually, I'm going to set it, I just decided I'm going to set it a little bit slower than quarter note equals 60, just because there's so many notes in this one. So let's try 50. Let's try 52. Okay, that's the quarter notes. Here's the eighth notes and sixteenths. Here we go. Ready, go. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4. 1E and a 2 and 3E and 4E and 1 and a 2E and a E and a 4. 1E and a 2 and a 3 and a 4E and 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4. 1E and a 2 and a 3 and a 4E and 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4. 1E and 2E and 3 and a 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and a 4. 1E and 2E and 3 and a 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and a 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. 1E and a 3 and 4E and 1E and a 3 and 4E and 1E and a 3 and 4E and 1E and a 2 and 3. Rest. All right, so that was a lot to say. You'll notice having that 16th note subdivision helps feel the beat a lot easier. Okay, I hope that helps you guys. This is also a helpful website, piano-keyboard-guide.com/16th-notes. If you look up how to count 16th notes, this will be one of the first websites that you find. It gives you an example of all those different, or at least a good amount of those rhythms. So again, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and. We have 1E and, 2E and, 3E and, 4E and then the reverse of that, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and then that's it for that. Remember, we also have 1E and, 2E and, where it's just 3 fast notes at the beginning of the beat. All right, I hope that helps you guys. Let me know if you need any one-on-one help, and we can set up a Zoom meeting. See you guys.